This could either be the best or worst moment of your life. That's it, straight up. Best or worst moment of your life. I was thinking about how I was gonna start this, and either by talking about the horrible things that could happen, the top 10 list of horrible things that could happen, that doesn't benefit you at all, or talk about the best 10 things that could happen. I thought that would do you a better service, and I want to take it in that direction. This can be the best or worst moment of your life, but it all comes down to what you decide you're gonna do with it. The decision. To me, the decision is gonna be simple, but to you, it might not be so simple. You might not be ready for it. You know, with this coronavirus thing, and call it a thing just to make it a nice little sentence at the moment, I've talked to a lot of people, and I've asked them some really hard questions. Some gosh damn fucking hard questions. One of the questions I said is, so how long do you think this isolation is gonna go on? And the majority of people I asked are like, 2 weeks. And I say, but in China, it was 3 months. And they say to me, what would you say if I asked you that question? Would you say the same thing? Would you be disturbed by the fact I even asked you that question? Would you shout around to a different answer? Would you be like, well, the government's got it, man. The government's in control. What would you say? What would you say? Because deep down to your heart of hearts and your soul's souls, you know the answer already. It could be one of two answers. You're afraid or you're uncertain. You're uncertain about if you're gonna go back to that restaurant job, if you actually have a job when you go back, if it's gonna open, if that guy can pay his rent, if you could pay your rent, if your landlord would allow it to continue because you're already behind a week before. The uncertainty of if your mother, father, grandfather, grandmother is of age and if they'll be okay. The uncertainty of all the things that you've been chasing so long are actually important. You know how like you see people in the morning, sometimes they go to work and they're reading the newspaper and they have the Starbucks latte. It's the grande latte. They have it and they have the suit and the tie and they walk with the paper under the arm. They got the shoes and the cool socks. And that's so important, but for what now? You're at home saying, what was all that for? Like that line in good old movie, Fight Club, you're not your fucking khakis. And seeing society, the very fabric of society around us, start to evaporate and fall apart at the seams, we go, I don't want to see seams. I knew there was something wrong there, but I didn't want to see it. Now I'm seeing it. Now it's being shoved in our face and we're all looking at it. We cannot escape the seams of society that are sewn very badly. And I think deep down, you're uncertain because you don't believe that if the government were to give you $1,000, you would actually be able to take that after 2 months of being unemployed or underemployed. Because you know it's not enough, it barely pays your rent. So you're asking yourself all these questions, all these things you thought they were okay because somebody else was supposed to take care of them. They were supposed to be okay, but now you're not sure if that person's gonna take care of them, the institution, the government that's there, and you're saying to yourself, I don't know about this. That makes fear. The uncertainty makes fear. And the question you gotta ask yourself is it gonna be a tool that controls you? Or is that uncertainty gonna be a tool that you use to control your own destiny? But these are the questions that you're asking yourself right now. We all are. And, I don't mean to make light of a situation that's very intense. There will be lives lost, important lives, dear lives. I'm sure there'll be lives of people lost that are close to me, the people that I know personally and that you know personally that are close to you. And I don't mean to make light of that situation at all. Will it be the worst pandemic of all time? Probably not. Will it be the Walk in the park pandemic of all time? Probably not. Somewhere in the middle? Suppose so. So the real choice is being made here by yourself, whether you're ready to make the choice or not, is this. Do you want to be naive? Do you want to continue to be naive and live in a world and a mindset where you are naive and you pull the wool over your own eyes and allow people to pull the wool over your eyes so you feel okay? I'll say it again. Do you want to live naive? Do you want to be like the people that are asking, hey, are you going to go back to work in 2 weeks? And they're like, yes. You got to make that personal decision if you want to be naive in your life. Because you have an understanding, we all do, that if we're naive, things will just work out. Hopefully, we're told to work out. We're told that people will take care of things for us. But the reality is, that's not always the case. It's not always the case. In this situation, most definitely won't be. You have an opportunity right now that is unlike anyone in history. With all the technology we have available to us and all the fast ways of communication and insight into medicine and sciences and nutrition, you have an opportunity to go through this and come out better than any generation before, better than the Spanish flu, better than the smallpox, better than anything else. It requires you to not be naive, my friend. That's what it requires from you. Requires for you to take off the rose-colored glasses and look at things as they are. So let's break down how this could be potentially one of the best things that ever happened to you. Let's go. If you've been that person stepping into the office every day, you know, going to the water cooler, cleaning the coffee mugs at work, perhaps eating the croissants or the bagels and sucking up to a boss that you didn't really think was as smart as you, or whatever it could have been. If you're one of those people, climbing your way by the fingernails up to the top of the corporate ladder, is that all you were? Is that all? That's it? That's it? That's it? Going to the happy hour with the team and the boss later on, hoping to get in the good favors to get that promotion. Was that all there was? Or maybe, I'm speaking to you particularly, a person who was doing gigs, jobs here and there, maybe a Zamboni machine, it's a fun word, who wouldn't like a Zamboni, or working at Starbucks, gas station, just doing gigs here and there while you're in school. And you have a big dream to yourself, one day I'm gonna do this big project in school, it's gonna be amazing, I'm gonna finish my school, get my graduation, and then what? It's really hard to get a job, people graduating all the time without jobs. But did you say to yourself, I'm gonna be satisfied? Did you actually think that the path you were taking, was gonna make you happy and satisfied and live a joyful life? Did you actually think that? And now that that career education path is taking a halt, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? School might be canceled for the rest of the year. Let's keep it real. Your company may be open or not. You spend so much time investing into that stock of the company, doubling down, not in the literal stock, but in the relationships you had there that might not be the same when you go back. What are you gonna do? Have you been following your joy? And I don't mean joy in the way it's something that makes you happy temporarily. I mean joy in the way it's something that is uncomfortable, makes you happy while it's uncomfortable. That kind of joy. Have you been following it? This is an opportunity for you to assess that, look at it all over again and say, wow, this rat race that I was running, this circle I was on, this hamster wheel of life, was actually satisfied on that. Did I like where it was going? Was it exhausting me? You have an opportunity in time right now to reset your life and do something different. What will it be? That's the big question, the unknown. Are you willing to step into it? You know, for myself, I'll show you a personal story here. For myself, I grew up in a very religious household, very spiritual household. Well, I don't mean religious in the way like following rules. I mean actually religious household. And through this past few weeks, I've watched myself receive messages and phone calls on a daily basis of people that are just losing their shit, man. People are just unraveling. Like bottle service girls who don't know if there's even going to be a club after. Then be getting used to making $500 a night and now they make nothing for several weeks, unknown periods of time. I've been seeing people that are just like, people that are like in sports, or people that are like the gym rats, and like they define their identity by somebody who goes to the gym and they post about the gym every day on Instagram and they post their workout every single day, and now they're not doing Instagram workouts anymore, so who are they? Because they're not in the gym. I'm seeing those people too. And I'm watching all this and I'm like, whoa. And through it all, people are just unraveling. 1 week in, people are unraveling because of the uncertainty. I'm watching those people that I know that are, for example, my mother and some other spiritual people. Easy sailing, man. No stress. No stress. I remember looking at them before and be like, damn, well, I wouldn't want to do something like that. I wouldn't want to be all spiritual and into holiness and ultimate higher powers and God. I wouldn't want to be into that. Like, I want to go do my thing. And I looked at them like they were the crazy ones. And now, how is she? How are they? Totally fine. This is like a little rock in the road, a little wave on the ocean. They're just like, fine. They've been mentally preparing for this kind of uncertainty for so long. Mentally always going deep into understanding what's right and what's wrong. Going spiritually into the depth of what is the true purpose of life and coming to terms with what their death could be. And what their death could be, you know? And it's so crazy to see that. It's so crazy to see that. The people who are doing this, the silly spiritual stuff, are more rock solid than the rest of us in most times now. And I wonder, like, what were the pearls of wisdom there? I know it's some of them are, but I just look at them like, wow. How did I overlook all of this so often? It's almost like the spiritual people that I know have been preparing for this moment for the past several years, and it's just dawning upon the rest of us right now. And we're just like, oh, but they kind of just were ready for it all along. The real war. The war isn't the virus, my friends. The war is for your happiness, for your peace, for your soul, for your fear. That's the real war. And I look at them and I'm just totally envious of that, because I know that I've stepped away from it as well. And maybe it's a time for you, a blessing, this opportunity to just reflect on it again and say, how have I stepped away from all this in my life? Maybe it's worth examining a second time, worth taking a second look for all of us. This is the opportunity right now to re-examine our faith in government. And I know that governments are doing the best they can. And at the same time, you got to ask, are they really? What does the government have to benefit from this? Control, power, more slaves to the dollar. And you got to ask yourself, at this moment of time, re-examine your life and say, have I been taking my well-being into my control, or have I been leaving it up to somebody else, leaving it up to an establishment? You got to ask yourself that. Have you been taking time to learn how to hunt or gather, just for yourself? Have you been taking time to learn how to fish? One of the most basic things, if the grocery store is shut down, none of us can do that probably, right? Not a large percentage of us. Have you been taking time to think about the security of your family? Have you taken time to just learn to train your body so you can physically defend yourself if you had to? Not saying you have to, not saying you would have to, but do you just feel confident in that ability? I went to Czech Republic the other day, and when I was in Czech Republic, I saw that the doors had big steel poles in them from when people were occupied by Russia and different countries, and the people would make doors with the ability for them to defend themselves with these doors. And I was like, wow, people made doors in their homes to be able to defend themselves. What a crazy concept, because I know the government will protect me, but do I really? Do you really? How certain are you of that? How certain are you that that $1,000 check you're gonna get per month or per whatever it is that your country has provided to you? How certain are you on that? Because the real ability you wanna have is to be able to fend for yourself in all manners, physically, emotionally, financially. And maybe you're not an entrepreneur, but you gotta think, hey, if I needed to fend for myself, could I? Could I do it? That's a scary question. Why? Why? Because it's unknown, the big U. It's unknown. This is an opportunity to question ourselves in those areas, but it could be the best question you ever asked. Could I fend for myself as a human being if society tomorrow? And if the answer is no, and you're not happy with that answer, now we have a chance to breathe and do something about it, which is wonderful. To have the opportunity, a moment in time, a brief moment in time that just changed that for a little bit. So priceless, man. So priceless. And that's the beauty of the moment. It's a beautiful tragedy. It's a black swan. It's a unfortunate circumstance. It's between a rock and a hard place. It's a catch-22. It's all these things we talk about. Because as tragic as this moment is, it may be a rebirth spiritually for society. Maybe a rebirth in terms of government, political structures. In your personal life, you might become more self-reliant and self-dependent. One of my concerns is that this situation is going to send a lot of people into a mental health crisis. Because we've been neglecting our mental health for so long. We've been pumping it up through Instagram posts and, I don't know, video games, weed, whatever you want to do. But we do these things as a vice so much that it consumes us, becomes part of our identity, what we do day to day and who we are. So now that a lot of these vices are not going to be enough, I'm worried about our self-images when this is all over. What happens to us as people? And we're not going to be too well. Like I said, a lot of people I know are unraveling. You probably see yourself feeling a lot of pressure. You feel yourself getting uncomfortable, uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen. It's like, this is not how you imagine things would be right now. You had plans, man. You had plans. What you want to do with your friends. You have plans. What you're going to do next week, the concert you're going to go to, the trip you're going to take. What you were saving your money for. How you could blow it because you didn't need it in a few weeks. All that stuff. And it's crazy, right? For a better lack of a word, it's pretty crazy. So let's do a thought experiment for the moment. Keep your eyes open, just look at me, straight in the eyes. And I want you to see yourself today and how you currently feel. The way you feel when you wake up in the morning, or do you wake up at noon because you're not working, 1 p.m., go deep with me. See that. See how your day's been. Are you walking around in sweatpants all day? Are you happy most of the day? Are you making time to do some push-ups, getting on the phone with your family and your friends, Zooming, WhatsApping, chatting, whatever you're doing? Okay? See this person, what you're eating day to day right now, this moment. Are you going to the grocery store, getting great food, or are you just getting canned shit, popping in the microwave? Whatever you're doing, I'm not judging because we're all there. We're all in the same place. Now, seeing yourself how you are, I want you to fast forward to 2 months from now, living the same routine day in, day out. How do you feel? How does that person look physically? Are they shaved, unshaving, or what do they look like? What's their emotional state? Now, I'm gonna say something crazy. That's a stressed out version of you that you're gonna imagine in 2 months. But at its core, it's a neglected version of you. And you have been that person for quite some time now. But you've been hiding it, suppressing it under the surface and pushing it down so it doesn't pop up. But that's been you for a while. And we're all suppressing things that we're not dealing with. And I'm really concerned about your mental health. And in the future, I'm very concerned about it, what it's gonna be like in 2 months. I want you to have somebody to talk to in these uncertain times. I want you to have somebody that you're there to have close to. So in fact, you're not living for today. Here's who you're living for. You're living for yourself in 2 months from now. You gotta have a vision, a crystal clear image in your mind of that person in 2 months and what you want them to look like. How do you want them to be? How do you want them to stand? How do you want them to feel? How do you want them to tackle situations? To have a crystal clear of that image every day. And every day that you wake up, you're fighting tooth and nail to get close to that image. That's what I want for you. So why change anything? Here's why. I mentioned before that you have an opportunity that you're never gonna have again, but let me break it down to a very, very granular level, okay? Here's what it means. Somebody has to believe in you. And for today, for right now in this moment, even though I haven't met you personally, face to face, I feel that we're bonded together because you've listened this far to this message and you've connected with it. And I am here for you in this moment because I'm not doing this at 3 o'clock in the morning just for my own benefit. I'm doing it for the benefit of yourself. But also you can listen to me and feel better so you can actually change something, okay? And I truly, truly mean that. I really do. And I want you to be motivated. And motivation coming not from fear of what may happen to society. I want you to be motivated based on how you feel you don't want to live in that quiet misery anymore, that silent desperation anymore, that patheticness that kills you as a cancer weekly and monthly. It's not what I want for you. I know you don't want it for yourself. Going down a drain of despair, constantly frustrated, not living up to your fullest potential, barely surviving, struggling to make ends meet, coping with day-to-day frustrations, disappointing yourself over and over again, lack of integrity. Who wants to live like that? Nobody does. I know you don't. So I want you to take this as an opportunity for yourself to knight yourself and honor yourself and respect yourself and all your amazing splendor and beauty and divine nature which you created. I want you to take this opportunity and actually acknowledge what's there. This could be your quiet awakening where you know that you're no longer meant to be subpar. Your quiet awakening where you say to yourself, fuck that shit. No more. And if you watch this and listen to me and we have this conversation and you go to bed later on at night and you're tossing and turning there and you feel like something isn't right, you can't go to sleep, that's not something to be ignored. That's a quiet whisper that things cannot be the same again. That's okay. So from this moment on, challenge yourself not to have a big plan, but to ask the hard questions. Ask the tough questions that make you a little bit uncomfortable. Because we all are asking these questions, and the biggest shame would be you just ignore the questions and just go back to how things were before. The questions that scare you. There's a quote that says, that you are withholding from the world is also withholding from you. If you don't ask those hard questions, you can't get the answers. And you might not get the answers, you might not be prepared for them, but if you ask the questions, you're at least heading in that right direction. Aim for the stars and then you hit the moon. I hope that this leaves you in a state where you feel like we're connected and you're not looking at the four corners of the wall or what might happen tomorrow, but you're understanding this moment right here, right now. And in this moment, you feel that something is changed and shifted slightly. And you can't quite place your finger on it, but you know that it is a good change and a positive change and an alignment that's clicked for you. And when you feel that alignment, you know that something is different. And you feel less afraid. And you feel a little more willing to look at the tough questions. And truly make this an opportunity to be one of the best moments of your life. All right? I want to thank you very much for being here with me in this moment in time. My brothers in arms, my human being, my beings that are being human. And take care of yourself and each other.